Marta. If you could share a little bit about yourself, what is it that you do, and help us understand who you are.
Mhm. Okay, thank you, Maros. I am Marta Vargas. I am from Colombia. I am a certified PSYCH-K instructor since 2010. And since PSYCH-K found me, because it kind of got in my way, I've found a very simple and easy way to update the programs that were not allowing me to be the best version of me that I am. And since I found that, I chose to share that with everybody who's ready to do so. So that's why I teach PSYCH-K, and that's why I facilitate PSYCH-K with others as well.
Okay, so you mentioned that you are changing some programs. So what do you mean by that? What are the programs?
Okay. So programs are what people call beliefs. Okay. And we are basically, every one of us is a set of beliefs. That's where we're like walking sets of beliefs. Mm-hmm. And we got those since we arrive in this universe, however long you think that that is. And we can use the analogy of a computer. Yes, if we buy a computer and it doesn't have programs, it doesn't work. And as we use it, we add programs to it. Some keep working very well, some don't, and they need to be updated. Same with us. We've gotten programs throughout all our lives. Some worked years ago and they were useful at some point, or that's what we had. And now we have the possibility to say, okay, so those programs need to be updated. Those beliefs, that belief system needs to be updated. And that is what we do with PSYCH-K.
Okay, and if you could please explain like how our beliefs actually affect our lives. How those programs actually change our lives.
Beliefs and perceptions are stored in a part of ourselves that we call the subconscious mind. We have a conscious mind that develops around 6 to 7 years old, but before that, we are only subconscious mind. And think of this like a huge database. And as we start to feel, hear, perceive what's going on in our environment, we receive those programs, those beliefs. So you grew up in a different culture than I did. We have some basic programs that every human being needs, like we need to walk. But you have a program where you speak a different language than I do. Now we both are speaking English, but my mother tongue is Spanish and yours is a different one. Those are different programs that we received from our culture. If we grow up in a religious environment, then we have religious programs. If we grew up in a non-religious environment, then we have other types of programs. Maybe we grew up in a very spiritual family, then we have spiritual programs. Or we just didn't have any kind of relationship with spirituality, so we just kind of go through life in that manner. So depending on what beliefs we received from the environment, we relate to life depending on those. I find throughout all these years of teaching in many countries and in many different cultures that there is a very common one, is that life is difficult. Life is hard. Get used to it. So I grew up with that, and I grew up with a mother that showed me that. Even she didn't have even to say it. I saw it every single day, and I felt it every single day. And then not only from her, I felt it from my grandmother, and then I heard it from teachers in school. So we learned those programs many times. And the subconscious mind is it's like a literal receiver of information. It cannot say, "Oh, I don't want that program." That would be what the conscious mind is able to do later on in life. So because the subconscious mind just receives and receives and receives and stores and stores and stores. So every time that something is similar to life is difficult, it will store it in a similar file. It can be a difficult experience. It can be a moment where you lost a very loved pet. It can be a moment where you have to leave your home and go to a different country. All those moments are felt as difficult. So life is hard. Those are all stored in similar ways, like kind of um, knit together. And it's not one time that we get one belief. It's a multitude of experiences that make up those beliefs and perceptions that are associated. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, but
Mm-hmm.
what is it actually that I as a person gain from actually working on my beliefs and focusing on that? Because you kind of mentioned that those were happening from the beginning of our lives, and I kind of
Right,
don't know don't remember exactly what happened when I was 1 year old. So what do I
right.
gain
We
by
don't
helping with those
we
beliefs?
don't remember consciously because there was no conscious mind. And the conscious mind that we develop as adults, as later on in life, is the one, it's the creative mind. It's a mind that starts to say, oh, I would like this or I would like the other thing. But it's a very small part of our mind. The subconscious mind, where we have stored all these programs, is running 95% of our daily experience. So think of this like a computer that it's all day long is running programs. So even though I want my life to be easy, it cannot be easy because the subconscious mind, that is very, very powerful, is all the time running the program, life is hard, life is hard, life is hard. So if I believe at the subconscious level of mind without knowing that I believe that, because we don't know, that's why they're called subconscious, they're below the level of consciousness, then my subconscious mind is going to create a life experience that is aligned with my belief system. If my belief system is that life is hard, then I'm going to create difficult experience after difficult experience after difficult experience. And then we start also to subconsciously to believe that because life is hard, I have to be very smart, or I have to be very capable, or I have to demonstrate that I am very perfect. So I start to gain my self worth from those difficulties. And it becomes a way of being. That was me. 15 years ago, my slogan was, why make it easy if you can make it difficult? And I guess a lot of us kind of function that way because we don't know otherwise. There's no other way to be because also our cultures have normalized these this type of living, that normal life that a lot of people do, where we're always in stress. Anxiety is the new stress. And why are we stressed? Because we are running the programs that we learned throughout our life, that belief that is over and over. And there's, if you have read Bruce Lipton, this amazing cell biologist, he says that in our subconscious mind, at least 70% of our programs are of self limiting nature because that's what we learned. We have no other way of knowing. We got those from the culture, we got those from the environment. The opportunity with PSYCH-K is saying, okay, so that's there. What do I want instead? Make sense?
Okay, yeah, it makes sense, but I'm still kind of thinking, how can we believe something that we don't want to believe?
Right. Again, when when you're a baby in your mom's womb, mom the way that mom connects with you is through feeling. There's no words yet. Everything that mom is experiencing, your subconscious mind integrates it as the basic um, functioning programs. So there are very good ones, like your heart needs to work, your lungs need to develop. When we're born, we need to start crawling, and then we need to start walking, and then we run. Those are programs that we start to develop. Those are also beliefs. And at that time, everything that the subconscious mind receives from the environment becomes a subconscious truth. There is no way of saying, oh, my mom's over there saying that men are horrible. I'm not going to believe that. No. mom is saying that, that's a subconscious truth. It becomes a belief. If then I hear dad at lunch saying, "Oh, life is so difficult. I have not enough money to bring for lunch. I have not enough money to put food on the table," then our relationship with money is always going to be based on those things that we heard in our culture. Because there's no way that to say when we didn't have a conscious mind, say, "I'm not going to believe that. I'm not going to be like my father or my mother." We say that later on. Yet, also, even if we want that, we need to change the program, because it's not only a matter of wanting, it's a matter of believing. And that is a huge difference. Is that clear now?
Yeah, that sounds clear, but like, how do we do that? How do we change the programs or the beliefs?
Okay. So, how do we change the programs? For many years, I didn't know that that's what was going on in my life. And I felt unsatisfied, and I felt stressed, and I wasn't happy with my life. I had moments of peace and moments of happiness, but there was this need of something was not well. So I was looking. I didn't know what I was looking for, but I was looking outside. And I learned to do repetition, because that's what I knew at the time. If you repeat enough times, then you're going to believe that life is easy. Didn't work. Then they told me, have positive mind, think positive thoughts. Yeah, for a little bit, and then life happens, and then I'm again very upset. Didn't work. Works for a little bit. And then they say, visualize. Okay, so I'm going to visualize that I have this wonderful life with this car and that house and that much money. So the car and the house and the money came, but still, I wasn't feeling well with myself. Then PSYCH-K shows up, and I understand that the focus, where I have been focusing, is in looking for answers outside. But the answers weren't there. I needed to access my subconscious mind and now choose which programs I wanted within me to feel better about life, so that life outside would feel good, look good, better experience of life outside when we change our beliefs within. And that was very powerful, because then I didn't have to keep looking. I had found myself. I had found that the answers were inside of me. But it's not like a magic wand. You find PSYCH-K and you go around with the magic wand, and then next day everything's okay. Because it's a journey. And then that journey is, okay, how do I know what I need to change? It's easy. Look at what's not going well in your life. Why isn't it going well? Because of the programs that the subconscious mind is running. I don't have to go back 40 years and discover at what moment of life my dad said that making money is very difficult. I know that now because that's how I relate to money. So now I can ask with PSYCH-K, how do I want to relate with money? Or how do I want to relate with myself? Or how do I want to relate with life? And then create a new program and integrate it at the subconscious level of mind. It's like cleaning your computer, updating your computer basic system. It's not working as, like, you have this little sign that comes up and says you need to update your programs. So you click on that, it runs, cleans the old program, installs the new one. When you double click and open your computer again, it's running the new programs. That's what this is. And it sounds um, so simple, and yet it's so profound, because every time that we do one of these updates, it's huge. Because, like I said earlier, it's not only one time that I learned that life is difficult. There's a lot of experiences of those. But once I tell my subconscious mind, okay, we're going to change that program. I want to believe that my life is fantastic. I want to believe that I have a life that is fun and easy. Okay, that's where you want to go. Let's clean the old programs. That's where PSYCH-K kicks in. Clean the old programs, install the new ones, and start running the new program.
Okay, well, what you are saying is that we can change basically the programs that we learned since we were little kids.
Mhm.
But can you share some story about like what is the most profound story about you changing your belief or helping some clients that you experienced? Like what was the most profound story that happened actually as a consequence of doing this?
Well, the thing is that because we can use Psyche at so many in so many aspects of life. You know, some people I see not only myself but in my clients and the people who come to learn, we have come like themes. Have you seen that? People have difficulties with relationships. Other people have difficulties with health. Other people, their difficulties is with self-esteem. I think that everybody has self-esteem issues. So if I think about myself, when Psyche found me in 2009, I had been working as a director of my family business for 24 years. I did marketing research. I was doing the corporate normal life, being the successful executive, very busy, kids, partner, another business because it wasn't enough to have one. You have to make it more difficult, more occupation. And I had a very, very busy life, a very successful life, if you count that as how much money you may have in your account or what kind of car you drive. But every morning that I had to get up, it's like, oh, I have to go do this again. No, it just wasn't coherent. There was no coherence in my life. I'm not saying that I'm not grateful for everything that I did for 24 years, or I wouldn't be who I am now. But when Psyche shows up, I start to figure out that there are a lot of reasons why I want to leave that company, but I couldn't leave. For my subconscious mind, it was very dangerous for me to leave the program, to leave my business, starting with how are you going to make money? If you leave this very successful business where clients are coming in every day, are you crazy that you're going to go out there without a plan and start doing who knows what, Psyche? People were, my mom was like, are you crazy? We have all these clients, who, this is so good. Why are you going to leave it? So I started to check what was it that was keeping me there. And that's where you discover that the subconscious mind is always going to look for ways to keep you alive, to keep you safe. And having money is very important in this world. It's not the reason why we're here, but if there's no money, there's no food on the table, no food on the table, no life. I die. That's what the subconscious mind is always going to protect, your life. So it wouldn't allow me to leave that business. So I started to change the program and say, doing what I love, I have everything that I need. I'm not even talking about money, everything that I need. And then I discovered that the other reason why I wasn't leaving my business was because all my self worth was based on what I did in that business. The outside pat on the back. Oh, you're so good at what you do. So I started to change the programs also that I am worthy just because I exist. That's my inner worth. And that was huge because then I didn't need to create all the problems. I was creating problems in my business so that people in my business would need me. And that was huge. To discover that was very confrontational and at the same time very transformative because then I said, okay, I don't need to keep creating problems. I can, instead of problems, I can believe that my team is very powerful, that they are very capable. So I don't do that so that they become powerful. They already were, but I couldn't see it because I needed to see very small people so that I could be bigger. Again, that's a self-esteem issue. And I can talk about this now in a lot of peace, but every time that I was finding these little programs that are so big, it was tough because like, oh my gosh, okay, this is inside of me. It's not happening outside. Cool. Now I have this amazing tool that it's like my best friend saying, and what do you want to say? Oh, I believe that I have a very powerful team. And then I couldn't believe, I saw my sister is 2 years younger than me, very well prepared. She has a master's in marketing from London. I didn't have any of all that education, but she was the one who was going to take charge of the company that my mom and I have built for 24 years. But in my mind, my sister was this big, my little sister.
Yeah.
So it's a huge threat to my subconscious mind. How is she, little thing, poor little thing, going to take care of this huge business? So I needed to change my perception of her. I believe that my sister is a very powerful woman. And after, knitting these different pieces of that new puzzle, then I could say, I am ready to leave. And I left. And I quit my job. A very successful, very well paying job in Colombia where people were looking at me like, are you crazy? So many people would love to have your job. Cool. I'm going to create now what really makes me passionate, what really brings consistency and coherence and congruence within. That's freedom. And that is the greatest gift I've given myself by integrating PSYCH-K in my life, is being free to be me.
Right, that sounds pretty amazing. And so far, you keep repeating like you change programs, you change beliefs. How long does it actually take to do that?
Well, doing one process that we call balance it can take seconds, it can take minutes. And here's a cool example of this with a client that you asked me earlier. This man calls me up, says, I need a session. I read that you do this process. I don't know how it works, but I need it very urgently. I need it today. He's like, yeah, well, you're in luck. I can see you today. So he comes in, 65 years old, says, listen, I have never been able to fly on an airplane. All our holidays, family holidays, have to be by car because I am just terrified of just the idea of even thinking that we're going to go anywhere on a plane. It's impossible. And my family is up to here of going by car. So today they're leaving and they're going to an island and they're going to leave me home because I can't get on that plane. Is there something that we can do? I said, okay, so let's do this. We access your subconscious mind, which we do by muscle testing. He gets into the feeling of this huge fear, this terror that he has of flying. He's never flown on an airplane, 65 years old. So we establish communication. The subconscious mind confirms that there is subconscious stress. And here's where we follow the steps, very simple steps. And as I am reading the step where the subconscious mind is activating the process of change, I didn't finish reading. It had been probably 5 seconds. And this man opens his eyes. He says, I'm done. And I had just started doing PSYCH-K. I've been doing PSYCH-K maybe for 2 or 3 months. And I looked at him like, really? Yeah, feel really good. Are we done? I said, wait, we have a few more steps before so that we confirm that this process is finished. So we finished the test. It was finished. And I was just blown away. I'm like, really? Is this for real? Because at the time I was still doubting the whole process. We're programmed to doubt. We're programmed to be, also we're so proud of being skeptical. So I just find that fascinating.
The
I'm
whole
really
science is
skeptic. I'm one of the skeptics. Don't come to me because I'm going to be skeptic. So that was me. So the guy finishes. That's all we did. The full session took 10 minutes. And he says, can I leave? I said, it's your session. You already paid me. Do you need anything else? He says, no, I need to go and buy an airplane ticket. My family is leaving in 2 hours. Get on his plane. That's all he needed. 10 minutes to change a full lifetime of fear. That's
amazing.
There's no words for me to, because it wasn't, the thing, Maros, here is a lot of people tell you So when you can get on the plane, you're going to be happy. When you can get enough money, then you're going to be happy. When you get the ideal partner, then you're going to be happy. So the full focus of our culture is outside. Get the outside results. Psyche is a deeply spiritual process with benefits in all those levels. Because when you change the focus and you said, okay, so it's not out there, it's not the airplane, it's what do I need to change within me, the program. I'm capable of getting on that plane, I have those resources within, and you find that power, then everything else starts to fit in place. And then you figure out that every condition, every situation, every challenge, every problem, every discussion, every challenge that you have with a person or a difficult moment, it's just that wisdom within, that spiritual side that is saying, you can do this, come on, come on. You know, it's pushing us to find that power inside, not to create anything else outside. It's going to happen. We are in this 3D for that, to experience 3D in a better way. And spirit is always whispering and showing us, and sometimes the whisper needs to become louder because we're not paying attention.
Yeah.
And finally, that's why Psyche, it's so fascinating. Because we're not telling people, come do Psyche so you have more money. No, we're telling people, come change your subconscious relationship with money, feel in peace in front of whether you have it or not, and then go do your life. It's a completely different standpoint.
It sounds amazing. I want to help people with losing weight. And
Okay.
I know that because I've been overweight myself. Then I lost
Mm-hmm.
105 pounds, and I know what
Mm-hmm.
change it caused in my life. However, when I was doing that, I did it the old-fashioned way. I didn't change anything in my subconscious, just pure repetition of doing these steps each and every day until my subconscious learns that. As you mentioned, your subconscious learned through repetition as well. So that's
Sure.
the old-fashioned way. But is there some
Mm-hmm.
way how this work could help with losing weight? It's okay.
Absolutely. Uh, Again, when people come and say, am I going to lose weight? We don't know because we do not promise the result. What we say is, let's let's talk about it. You know, let's find out what's there. What's keeping you from getting those results. But not, it's not about the next diet. It's not about more exercise. You can kill yourself doing a diet. And say, oh, another diet. But there's so many reasons why somebody might have um, weight management difficulties, because the origin of that could be of so many diverse reasons. I had this client many years ago. She was probably around 40-ish. She'd done all the diets. She was obese with a lot of other difficulties in her life, diabetes, you name it. She felt horrible about herself. She didn't have a partner. She was depressed, and it was all weight related. So we were doing some initial things that we can do. So it's very stressful. So let's start by being in peace with this situation. I can be in peace whether it gets solved or not. I've gained a lot of freedom in my life. And that part of what happens during psyche balance is that when we're in stress, and every limitation creates subconscious stress, your the hemispheres of your brain cannot work together.
Mm-hmm.
They are designed to work together. It's called whole brain state. When we do a psyche balance, we reach that whole brain state. And when you do that, you start to be able to access inner resources that you didn't have a few minutes before, like the guy who couldn't get on the plane. So we did that at the beginning. And then I asked her, when we do Psyche, we ask questions. We're not telling people what to do. And I love that because I used to be such a control freak. I said I'm a control freak in recovery because I wanted to tell people what to do. I knew better than them, poor people. But it's like, hey, this is a humbling process where you have to put your opinions and your thoughts to the side and just be there so that the person will listen to themselves. So I asked her, what would be the adverse consequence of losing the weight? What would happen in your life? And she got really quiet and she started to cry. And she comes up with this thing that I would have never arrived at this. And she says, when I was 17, I was very thin, I was very beautiful, very fit, and a guy raped me. And she started to cry. So that moment, that trauma in the subconscious mind that is literal and associates things in very curious ways, for the subconscious mind, being skinny, being fit was a danger. So what did the subconscious mind do? I need to protect you. So it put weight on so that she would not be in danger anymore. So it didn't matter how many diets this lady had done, how many nutritionists she had seen. Once she found that truth in her, that trauma, and we addressed that moment, because here's another beautiful thing. The subconscious mind doesn't have a past and it doesn't have a future. It doesn't matter if that experience had been 40 years before in her lifetime, or even if I'm afraid of something that's going to happen in 2 weeks. For the subconscious mind, the program of fear is running constantly. So anything for the subconscious mind that smells of danger, it's like, nope, not going to happen. So this is one of the reasons why people lose the weight, and once they stop the diet, they gain it again really fast, or even more. Because the subconscious mind feels the threat. Oh my God, we're skinny again. We're in danger. Puts in more weight. So we changed that trauma, that perception of the trauma. And after that, she created a new, what we call goal statement, which is the representation of what does she want instead of all that she's been experiencing. Now it has nothing to do with the weight. And it's, I am safe being visible to men. Amazing. Huge. Now the weight is just the excuse to solve that. And it was beautiful because now she could see the weight from a place of gratitude. It had kept her safe all this time because she had no other way of being safe. So when we can see that apparent external situation is just keeping us safe, we can say, nice. Okay, it's a program. It served its purpose. Now I have a new program. And now from there, she could then give her subconscious mind new information. It's fun and easy for me to eat healthy. I'm ready and willing and able to whatever. We did 2 or 3 more balances. And then she could go and take the actions that were effective.
So
she was in her ideal weight within 8 months.
So it basically just created like the potential for her to act in a way.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
Because like recently I heard a saying that everyone knows how to lose weight, but nobody does it. Like people actually know how to lose weight. Like it's really simple. Like just eat less calories than you burn. Like that's it. That's every piece of knowledge that you need to know. And if you just follow this, you will get there. But people don't do it. And you're saying that the reason is because there's something in their subconscious that's blocking them, right?
For example, I don't know how it's been in your culture, but when my grandmother was growing up, being overweight was a sign of healthiness. Mm-hmm. If you have extra weight, is because there's food in your house. Yeah. So it was also a sign of prosperity. Anybody who was too skinny was going to die. Yeah. So if that program, that very old program, is running in your subconscious mind because you got that from your family culture, it doesn't matter if you eat half of the calories that you need and you burn the double, your subconscious mind is going to find a way to keep the weight. You can starve yourself and still be overweight because the subconscious mind is going to say no. So it's not linear anymore. It's a very powerful program saying, if you lose the weight, you die. So you need to say, I am safe being fit. And this is just another example. Because for some other people, being overweight, it's because we've put meaning to food that replaces things that we don't get emotionally.
Yeah.
So if growing up, my mom was always in the kitchen and it was a moment where it was a very loving moment and she was very warm and it makes me feel the love of mom. So I eat a lot because it represents for the subconscious mind the love of my mom that I don't have anymore. It doesn't matter how many diets you do until food becomes food only again. And there's the other side where our culture has made food the enemy. How many people sit at the table and they're only eating guilt?
Yeah, I guess a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot. I had this woman in Mexico telling me, we're talking about this during a workshop, and she said, Marta, even water makes me overweight. If you have that powerful belief, it doesn't matter how many diets you make. For the subconscious mind, you're going to keep putting the weight on.
I guess you are just saying about the beliefs that they are like really powerful, but isn't there this thing called like also reality and what actually objectively happens? Because you are saying
Mm-hmm.
that they believe that and that then it won't happen. But
Right.
how is
Yes.
it
When we talk
possible?
about beliefs,
Mhm.
people say, oh, it's not a belief, it's a fact. I'm seeing it with my eyes.
Yeah.
Sure. Where are facts coming from? From your belief system. Anything that you have in your system, your belief system is the basis of your attitudes. And your attitudes are the basis of your behavior. And your behavior is the basis of your results. So I can grow up in the same home with my sister, and we have complete different relationship with food. Completely different. If we go together to eat ice cream, the fact is that it's the same ice cream.
Yeah.
And science will say that we are both going to gain weight because it's sugar and it has fat in it, all that. I don't gain the weight because I'm eating joy. She's eating guilt. Example, no? How many times you listen to people say, oh, I'm going to eat this little sin. I'm going to allow myself this little sin. Well, it's not little because for the subconscious mind, it's a sin.
Yeah.
So I'm telling people, how about we transform that and we make food a blessing, and food is nurturing, and food is this magnificent, pleasurable thing that is bringing joy. The human experience is so beautiful, but we've made it so difficult. What you said, it is very simple to lose the weight when you think linearly. But when you think at the subconscious level of mind, the breaks that we have because of self limiting beliefs are very, very powerful.
Yeah.
But with the same power, we can use that same power to create a better reality.
You know, with the beliefs, I kind of matches the word comes up the placebo, right? Because that's also about the
Mhm.
beliefs.
Absolutely.
I just
Yeah.
read a study where it says they gave some diabetics actually, I don't know, some beverage, and they told them either it has no sugar or it has high sugar amount.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they gave
Mm-hmm.
both the same beverage, and their sugar response in their blood was different.
Of course.
And then it just
Absolutely.
basically says that your beliefs is more important than the reality you are experiencing because they were both drinking the same.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Studies about the placebo effect, which Rob Williams, who is the originator of Psyche, he calls it the perception effect. Because the idea is, what do I perceive of what's happening? Yeah.
yeah,
So there's beautiful videos of this on YouTube. If you, whoever is watching us today wants to explore, there's the ones that you're mentioning. There are placebo surgeries.
yeah, I heard about
You know,
this.
three different groups. One actually receives the surgery. The other one gets a couple of cuts. The other one just sees a movie of a surgery and they think it's their surgery. They all have amazing results on what was happening in their knees. So same thing for anything. It just depends on how powerful the subconscious mind is. Bruce Lipton in his book says that there's cultures where um, there's a poison that for that culture is not a poison.
Hmm.
People say, "Oh, if I go and live there, then I don't. It won't be a poison to me." They say, "No, because you come from a culture where subconsciously that is a poison. If there is a 0.01% in your system that believes it's a poison, don't take it."
Yeah,
And
but
food, we become afraid of food. Fascinating,
yeah,
fascinating how we've created so much fear around food.
okay,
I see just little example, people who choose to be vegetarians. If you're choosing to be a vegetarian because from a place of love, you're going to be very healthy. But if you're choosing to be a vegetarian and you're being a vegetarian from fear, every time that you sit in front of food, you're looking for, maybe they made a mistake and there's going to be meat in here and there's going to be this and that. You're going to find it. And those people are very ill. They're more sick than the people who actually eat meat because their system is always running a program of fear.
okay. Well, how do we actually use this? How
Mhm.
can we change the beliefs and use the placebo in basically our favor?
So, what's the active ingredient in the placebo? When you're saying they gave them these pills and they were only sugar, the active ingredient is belief.
Yeah,
They believed that they were receiving the real drug. Their system turns those ingredients into with the healing power of their cells, because our cells are capable of doing this. If we want to do this, then you need to go to a facilitator or come and learn and find out how, with very simple steps, we're going to muscle test to discover what is it that you believe or you don't believe. And if you don't believe it, then we're going to get this protocols of access to your powerful subconscious mind to tell it to activate this very advanced spiritual technology that is Psyche to clean. It's like cleaning a computer. I love the computer analogy because it's very easy. Computers are made of programs, and if I were using today my computer with the same programs when I learned when I went to college in Colombia, there were no computers. It was very fascinating when I think of that. This is 20 years ago. And then if I were to run this computer with those programs, this won't work. Disaster. It would
yeah,
be trying and trying and trying, and it's so hard and it doesn't work. I clean those old programs, ask the subconscious, okay, this is my new program. I want to believe that my pancreas relates with sugar in a healthy way. That's my goal. What's my goal statement? My pancreas works naturally. That's the representation of a huge goal. So we're going to give this new information to the subconscious mind. Doesn't mean that one goal statement or one balance is all you need, because Even if the subconscious mind is very powerful, there are areas in our life that may need more than one bounce, even more than one session. But we don't need to do hundreds of sessions for for a theme in our life. That's the beauty of PSYCH-K. If they're going to come with you, or a wonderful facilitator, and now offering to do this with people, then they're going to come and tell you, this is my situation. You're going to ask questions, and they're going to say, okay, this is what I want. And they follow the steps. Then muscle test allows us to confirm that now the subconscious has a new belief. Now you have new eyes. Now you're in a whole brain state because we're bridging this duality. I can, I cannot. Now I have this information in my system. Version 2.0 of the initial one. What else do you want? Oh, now I'm remembering, like I was saying, my grandmother used to say that if I'm too skinny, it's very unhealthy. It's very risky. Okay, so what do you want instead? Oh, now I want to tell my subconscious mind that being skinny is very healthy. Okay, let's create the goal statement, new balance. Every time that we do a balance is huge, because think of this like a spider net, a spider web, right? You take out one little thread of the web, well, it doesn't come alone. It comes with a lot of other threads, because that's how the subconscious mind has stored information. So every time that we do a PSYCH-K balance, it's like the dominoes that start to fall, 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 fall. You don't know how far they went, but once it's done, again, the process is finished. We test. The person has new eyes. Let's talk about this again. How do you feel about this now? Much better. And now I'm just thinking of the idea of eating healthy. It's boring to eat healthy.
Yeah.
And the information is gonna come, it's gonna start coming from them, which is beautiful. Because I don't need to know, I'm no expert in nutrition. I'm not an expert in health management, but I am really good at asking questions because I believe that I am.
Yeah.
So we're always going to ask the person the questions so that they can listen to themselves and find their own truth. That's what a very good PSYCH-K facilitator does. Support you in finding your new truth, yours, your better version. So that life then starts to look better.
Okay, so it's great that we are both able to do that and to help people with actually doing the PSYCH-K facilitation process. And you mentioned something that that's called PSYCH-K balance. What was that about? Is it
Okay, so
what is it?
a balance is a series of process, a series of steps, very short, 7 steps. And in each step, we're going to start by communicating with subconscious mind. We're going to find out what's going on. Do we believe this? Do we don't? If we don't, then we're going to move forward to activate this very amazing spiritual process that is PSYCH-K. It can take seconds, it can take minutes. Then when you're ready, we muscle test again. Now it's complete. Now we celebrate. That's a balance. Why is it called a balance? Because I mentioned earlier what happens in your hemispheres when we're in stress. Yes, we all have left and right hemisphere. When we're in stress, they're not communicating. They should be crossing communication from one side to the next. But when we're in stress and all our subconscious beliefs maintain this subconscious stress, the communication is stuck, like in a very high, heavy traffic road. When we do PSYCH-K, that heavy traffic kind of dilutes. The two hemispheres can communicate with each other, bring information, same information at the same time, whole brain state, so that now you have balanced information. That's why we call them balances. And then with the new subconscious programs, you can see what comes next. From that, the more PSYCH-K we do, the more whole brain we are. The more whole brain we are, the more access we have to our own resources. We just have been kind of hidden behind all these programs that we learn from culture.
Okay, I had one question that my roommate yesterday told me. Well, what's the difference between just doing PSYCH-K or just taking action? Like if you take the action, you will get there either way. So what's the point of doing PSYCH-K?
I'm gonna go back to the example of the lady who had done so many diets, and she'd been to so many. I don't know how many thousands of dollars she spent in the next gym and the next gym and the next trainer. She took the actions, but we're taking action with our conscious mind that wants that. For sure, she wanted to lose the weight. She tried. However, Eva, the subconscious mind, she had all these very, very powerful programs. There's nothing your conscious mind can do. Here's the reason why. Our mind, which is energy, it's not here, it's energy. We're going to talk about the mind like by levels. Mm-hmm. So the volitional mind, the one that that says, I want this, is your conscious mind. But that is only 5% of all your mind. It runs only 5% of your day. Because it's like a very slow processor of information. When we talk about how the mind processes information, it's like computers again. Very slow computers process information at 40 little bits of information per second. 40 units that are called bits. That's your conscious mind, 40 bits per second. Your subconscious mind is processing information constantly at 40 million bits per second. It's at least 1,000,000 times more powerful than your amazing, beautiful conscious mind. So let's think that going towards the goal with your conscious mind, trying with your conscious mind, sometimes works for sure. Yeah, I played golf competitively for years. And what did I use? My will, my power of will. Repetition, repetition. Exhausting because it's like going towards a goal at noon where it's really hot on a bicycle. And I have to pedal to get that bicycle up there. I try and I try. And sometimes I get there, and then sometimes I go back, and then I have to start again, and then I go back. The subconscious mind is like the most powerful speed train on earth. Only that it's linked to your bicycle, but it's looking the other way. Yeah. Because it's saying to this woman again, you want to lose weight? No, 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 no. If we lose weight, we're going to be raped again. That's very dangerous. If you lose weight, men are going to see you again, and they're going to come and attack you again. No way I'm going to let you get there. And if you lose it, I'm going to make you gain it again. Make sense? Yeah. Money, for example. If my goal is, if you ask people, a lot of people say, yeah, I need more money. Cool. Great, great goal. And they try and they try and they try. Why don't I have the money I want? Money comes and money leaves. If at some point you heard your father say, money is very dangerous because it leads you away from the good path, it's a very common religious belief. Money takes you in the wrong path. Your subconscious mind is going to say, well, then we can't have money. Because in order to stay honest and to be a good person, you have to be poor. Yeah, you're going to lose it.
That's interesting. Okay, it sounds all like really, really nice and really positive. And you also mentioned some stories from some other people, but still, like things like this don't work for me. Like, will it work for me actually? Will it help me in my situation? Like, is it something that is a person that comes here or that watches our video and maybe has this question, like, will it work for him or her or whoever is watching?
Yeah, that is a very human question and it's valid. And there's two answers to that. If you're curious enough to overcome your skepticism, so you're a curious skeptic, you're gonna go, you're gonna try, and there's a possibility that it's going to work. Like it has worked for hundreds of thousands of people in 35 years, in over 60 countries, in more than 20 languages. But if you're the kind of skeptic, like we said at the beginning, that you're really proud of being a skeptic, then for sure it doesn't work because you're not even going to try. You're going to go there to prove that it doesn't work because your belief is that you're so broken that nothing works. And you're proud of that because it's a way to defend your lack of whatever it is that you don't have in your subconscious mind. There's no right or wrong answer. They're both valid because maybe this is not your path. But if you're listening to this and you're saying, this is what I've been waiting for, don't wait. Make that appointment, take that action, go do something different. Because otherwise, it's like Albert Einstein said, you cannot solve a situation from the same level that it was created. You cannot do more of the same and expect different results. That is the definition of insanity. You want something different in your life? You need to do something truly different. And PSYCH-K is different.
That sounds amazing. Well, tell me more about like yourself. Like, what is it that you focus on with clients? Do you have some preference of who you want to work with, or who is your like your desired client?
Um, to me, people say, oh, well, PSYCH-K should be good for everybody. And at the beginning, I thought that. Mm-hmm. However, PSYCH-K is perfect for me, for my ideal client, or for sessions, basically for workshops, because I focus mainly on workshops nowadays, are people who are ready to be responsible for their own life. That person that says, I need to move from being the victim to being in power of my own life, that is the person that comes to me. It's not who I am looking for, it's who I am inviting through my beliefs, that those are who are ready for PSYCH-K. Not everybody's ready. It works for everybody, sure. Not everybody's ready. But that's how I see this. For some people, for example, my daughter, for her, she's a great facilitator since she's 17. And one of her main focuses are people who are moving away from the corporate life, moving into being entrepreneurs and starting their own personal brand and all those fears that are inside of that. I have another friend, her focus are teenagers. Teenagers they have it very hard, very difficult. You know, they have these ideas that everybody's out to get them and they're very lonely. Great space to do PSYCH-K with. Other people focus in moms. Oh, they also have it very difficult. And one aspect that I think is very important and that I've done a lot of sessions with are men in general.
Do you mean like with
Because,
men or for women thinking about men?
no, men. Because it's been like I see the transition of more and more men being able to say, I need to be in touch with my being and who I am, instead of all these cover it by being strong and having to be able to do everything. So being able for them to be in touch with their vulnerability, mm-hmm. It's very powerful. And I see more and more men coming into our workshops. Like I have workshops of 50-50, even I've had workshops of only men. And I love it because when they discover that power, wow, it's amazing.
Yeah. So what you are basically saying that currently your focus is on doing the workshop, and what is it, the workshop? What's that about?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so workshops, there's two ways of integrating Psyche in your life if you want to learn. You can take an online workshop where you are going to discover the beauty of doing Psyche with yourself and how you can ask these questions that we've been talking about and doing this, exercising this muscle of self observation and what do I want instead. Or if you like more of the in person environment and you have the possibility to go in person, then we have those two. Both are 3 days. You have the presence of a Psyche certified instructor. There's 30 of us in the world. So if you can be with one of us, we're going to be very, very happy to be there. It's a lot of fun, which I also love to be in a Psyche workshop because I used to go to all this very serious and everything was transcendental and had to be very heavy. So, but it was really spiritual. Life is fun. So I love that about Psyche that we can be very deep and very profound, and yet it doesn't have to be so serious. So see, 3 days in person or online. Our workshops are all on psyche.com or on our own workshops as individual instructors. Depends on what language you speak, where you are, and great way to start. Have a session. I didn't have that benefit because when I started to do Psyche, nobody was teaching in Latin America, so I had to go to the States. I had to go and find Psyche somewhere else. Now we're everywhere, so it's just that it's just a click away.
Right. So you say that they should experience with have a session. How can they do that?
Well, they can contact Amazing You. You're very well trained, and you have your heart is in a very beautiful place. And doing sessions with you, probably they're going to get, so you're going to share your contacts. And there's a listing on psyche.com of facilitators who have been trained and have the skills to do in person or online sessions. Even sometimes we don't have the video, so we can just do it over the phone, or it's so simple. And it's just as effective if you go in person or if you do it online because your subconscious mind is non geographically located. And we can, the same way that we're having this amazing conversation, you are somewhere around the world, like 6 hours ahead of me.
Yeah.
And where are you today?
I'm currently at in Bratislava in Slovakia.
Okay, and I'm in Colombia. Same way, we can transform our subconscious mind.
So it works like over the globe. That's what you're saying.
Yes, there's sessions everywhere. Amazing people doing sessions with amazing people. And we've been doing this for 35 years. We just celebrated 35 years of Psyche being on this planet, thanks to Rob Williams. If you want to learn more, go to psyche.com. You have a series of questions and answers beyond the ones that we've answered today that you can share with everybody. And just be curious, see what happens. You may be surprised.
Okay, Martha, and what about you? How can people get in touch with you? What's the best way to contact you?
They can go to my website, that's martavargas.org, and there's a contact to my assistant's WhatsApp, and there's my YouTube channel, there's my Facebook, there's my Instagram. That's where they can find me. Also on the Psyche website, every certified instructor is listed there, the 30 of us, depending on where you are in the world. You can also contact any of the amazing people who make up this community.
Okay, so just to clear up the difference between the instructors and the facilitators. So there are 30 people that are instructors that can teach others how to do Psyche, right?
Exactly. Rob Williams has been very, I think he's been very lovingly keeping the purity of this process. So he's very selective, and the process that we go, the training that we undergo as instructors to be certified, it has a long series of steps. That beyond that is when we get aligned with the essence, the spiritual essence of Psyche, then we're ready. That's why there's only 30 of us, because he's very selective. And if you want to do sessions, and facilitators are the ones who are trained for this. And there's a couple of workshops that we do, especially to help you guys to have the necessary skills to be the best facilitators that you can be and support others doing this.
Well, that's amazing. And again, thank you, Marta, for this amazing interview. It was really nice to hear. And I really enjoyed the way that you explained everything in such a detail that I believe that everybody who's watching this can understand what we are talking about.
Beautiful. Thank you, Marius, for having the intention of making this visible to those who are ready.
Right.
May a lot of people have better realities thanks to you.
Thank you.